physical attraction draws us to somebody that we want to become involved with. So obviously the biology kind of rules, and there's a lot to the biology that we're not aware of that will attract us to a specific person and make that person the kind of the one, you know? But that's kind of what gets us started, and it's a lot of fun, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. It changes our outlook on life, all that kind of thing. It has a lot of powerful physical and psychological effects. And in fact, if I were a biochemist, I would understand the intricacies of the biochemistry involved, because there's a lot of hormones and things that get going in our systems that aid in all this. So Mother Nature makes us, builds us so that we are drawn to a partner for one reason or another.
It used to be that, we would be criticized for even talking like that. It used to be, of course, that, maybe we had acknowledged internally that there is a physical attraction and it's very hard to ignore. But it used to be that you would find a partner in life, profess love, get married, and then follow the physical attributes. That's long gone, isn't it?
Well, in a way, but not really, because even at that time, it would be the anticipation of sort of having sex that would get young couples dating, engaged, etc. They'd go through a longer get-to-know-you process, but there would still be a powerful physical component to all of this.
It's built right in with this, what you're saying, the hormones and the physiology, everything about it is physical, and it's within us. It's inherent in us. Is it a power that we just can't resist?
Well, I'd say so. Yeah. It's not inevitable in everyone, because there are people who remain single all their lives. But it is the thing that guarantees the survival of the species, right? Every species on the face of the earth has one purpose, and that is to reproduce. So this drive in us is exactly that drive, is to get to the point where we're reproducing, we're replacing ourselves. So obviously there's one major way we do that, and it involves physical activity. It involves sex. So yes, the physical draw is the first thing that pulls us together. That lasts somewhere between 5 and 10 years as a powerful motivator. But we quickly, once we're involved in the relationship, however we structure that, often it is living together, or let's just take a common garden variety of living together, buying a home, establishing a life. And so once we start to do that and real life kind of kicks in, you both have to go to work. If you have children, somebody has to take care of the kids, etc. So the practical kind of starts to creep in, and even though the physical draw can still be very strong, it assumes it's not the primary thing that is driving the relationship anymore, because real life is starting to put the physical in its place. Do you know what I mean?
And real life, we often say, interferes with the relationship, and real life gets in the way of the relationship sort of thing. And that leads us to what we really want to talk about today, of course, and that's how relationships come apart, how relationships end up in failure. I mean, in the evening news on television, they celebrate people having wedding anniversaries of 50, 60, 70 years long. And those people, of course, are getting quite old and are dying away. And the next generation coming behind them has no hope of achieving a 60-year wedding anniversary, because our society today finds marriage and relationships are disposable, it seems. Now, that's not the proper word, I realize, but relationships deteriorate today faster than they used to. And that begs the question, why? Do you have that ultimate answer?
Boy, what a challenge. Well, what I have seen in people that I work with, and what I have found in some of the studying that I have done, is that at the bottom of conflict in relationships is a central question, and that question is, do you love me as much as I love you?
Wow.
And when someone feels that they're not entirely sure of the answer, what sets in is something called primal panic. And this is what drives intimate partner violence, actually.
At the ultimate end, yeah.
Yeah, this has been substantiated by different studies from different centers. And it is at the heart of a therapy technique for couples called emotionally focused therapy. At any rate, that is the core cause of conflict. And when people feel uncertain about whether their partner loves them as much as they love the partner, then this is far more disturbing and upsetting than most of us realize. I mean, we can get upset and we can be quite aware of how upset we are, but what we don't necessarily articulate is that question. We don't even articulate it to ourselves, never mind to the other.
I was going to ask you that. I was thinking you're making sense that, when there appears to be, or your perception is that there's an imbalance in the level of love given one way to the other, that I can see that being, at the heart of turmoil for sure. But I was going to say, do we really ask that question? Do we really say that out loud from one partner to the other? Because my kind of recollection is you might think it, but you never speak it. Well,
the answer is no, we don't, because it's too scary. I mean, think about how vulnerable you feel in a relationship where so much depends on the other person. So much of your sense of well-being and security in life and just satisfaction with life depends on that reciprocation of the love from yourself to the other. So it's almost unthinkable to even think that question to yourself. Never mind, ask the other, because what if they say, no, I don't?
And yet,
that's the end of your world, right?
No, absolutely, yeah. But at the same time, the world is crumbling, but maybe crumbling on false pretenses or false basis. We think back that most people would suggest that they end up arguing over money. They end up arguing over difficulties in managing the household and the household budget, and there's not enough, and we need or want more, and you can't provide it, and money seems to be at the root of a lot. Is that just a substitute for trying to find out if you love me as much as I love you?
Well, money is important, but if you go below that, you're going to find a pattern. If you go below the topic of the conflict, you will find a pattern. There are three major patterns of conflict. One is attack withdraw. Like one person will be critical or asking questions or making demands. The other person will retreat further and further into silence. The person who's making the demands, in fact, if you take away all the surface stuff, that person is actually reaching out to the other to say, do you really love me? If you love me, you'd mow the lawn every week. If you really love me, you would make sure that the grocery supply is stocked up. If you really love me, you would, fill in the blank. So when you fill in the blank, that's the subject around which the argument focuses. But if you get below that, it's the feeling, and it's often not conscious. If you really love me, you would. So this is the kind of dynamic we go through. So that's the first and most common pattern, the attack withdraw. Then there's attack. I am feeling this way, or I am upset about this, and the other one says, well, so am I. So what happens then, right? That's the end of the conversation because nothing's going to happen. I'm
worried you're going to tell us that the third one is even worse.
Yeah, the third one is worse. The third one is withdraw, where each person is giving up on the other. And that's generally the pattern that takes place just before divorce or separation or whatever.
And all because we're feeling perhaps unloved and we're even too afraid to ask.
Exactly. And it is very scary to get to the point where you're willing to be vulnerable enough to ask. That's a real challenge. This is not a matter of willpower or thinking or something. This is deep emotion. And the reason that it is so powerful is all of this is connected with our survival system. We're built to be in connection with others, and we need to be in secure connection with others. More and more in our society, other is a love partner, but it can also be a community, it can be an extended family, it can be any number of deep and secure connections. It's just that the most common one is the dyad, the two-person relationship. So because it's connected with the survival system, we survive best when we are connected with someone else, and this has been borne out with studies that have been done in prisoner of war camps, concentration camps, things of that sort. The lone wolf has a lower chance of survival than the people who are connected with one or more others. So that's one of the reasons why all this stuff is so powerful, and a lot of this is not conscious to us. So, it's really quite something.
But I'm getting the sense it's not just quite something, it's quite simple. And if we could all realize it simply, we could solve it. And wouldn't that be kind of a one trip to you sort of thing? But that's not true either, is it?
Well, no. Becoming aware of the dynamic is a first step, which is why we're talking about this today. But really, it takes quite a lot of effort, and like I would be doing this with clients in my work as a psychotherapist, but takes quite a lot to get to the point where you can actually sort of recognize this stuff, because we've got layers of coping strategies that defend us from feeling these things. They're quite scary. This is not easy to do.
And yet we find it so easy just to talk about it here. I just hope that one person, it would only take one, to listen to your comments today and reach out to save a relationship, perhaps to save a marriage, perhaps to save a family. If just one would happen, our conversation would be every bit worthwhile.
Well, here's hoping.